Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the St. John's Curling Club for Draw 9 of the St. John's Super League. Tonight's feature matchup between Quality Matters, skipped by Ken Pettigrew, and Team McNeil Lamswood, skipped by Daniel Bruce. We'll get into that, the intricacies of that lineup as the night goes on. I'm here, Andrew Symonds, with my colleague and third, Trent Skanes, calling the action for you tonight. And,
excited to be here.
Daniel Bruce has started with Hammer, and action's underway.
Yeah, I guess to get into the intricacies of that lineup, one of the things that jumps out at you is that I don't believe McNeil Lamswood will play a game of Super League this year. So it's the team name's a bit of a misnomer to start with. He will skip I suppose not even skip the team. I guess the rumor is, or the expectation is, he'll be playing third.
Yeah, I actually had a conversation with Daniel Bruce before this, earlier today, and before the game. And I asked, that was one of the questions, was inquiring minds want to know, what is the lineup for your tanker team? Obviously, it's different from this. So in Super League tonight, and for everyone's benefit, we're tucked away behind Ice 6. We're watching a stream for a game that's on Sheet 3. But typically their Super League lineup is with Daniel Bruce skipping, and then they'll have some combination of Nathan King, Aaron Feltham, and Steve Bragg. However, for the tankard, I believe their lineup is Ty DeLello, who's an import skip from, I believe, Manitoba.
Manitoba, yeah.
And Ryan McNeil Lamswood, who's studying abroad, I think, in Cape Breton right now. He's going to play third, with Daniel Bruce playing second and Aaron Feltham playing lead. That was straight from Daniel's mouth half an hour ago. Yeah. So that's the plan. So a very, very different look come tanker time to what we're going to see tonight. But regardless, a very strong team on the ice here. I think Lamswood right now is at a 6-2 record.
Yeah.
2 losses, I believe. So they've had a good year so far. And in fairness, Pettigrew's played very well.
Yeah, I was going to say Ken and his squad have been, as usual, perennially competitive in every game. Their record's probably not where they would love it to be, but at the same time, down to last rock in almost all cases. So we see here no shortage of rocks in play already. We've got the kind of classic offensive setup here with corner guard and then the one or the blue around it. Or sorry, the center guard and the blue around it, and then the yellow corner Barry setup. So we're in the mix already here, Andrew.
Okay, it's a confirmation from Rod Feltham, who's tuned in from Gander. Nice to know we've got at least somebody listening tonight. How you doing, Rod? Hope things
I wasn't
are well.
sure. Yeah, this is
things
great.
Are well. So Rod just texted and confirmed the lineup, Ty DeLello, Lammy, Bruce, and Feltham. So that's what we're going to be looking at tanker time. Very strong team. Boys traveled to an event last month, I believe, and qualified in Nova Scotia. So tanker time should be very interesting for a number of different teams.
Yeah, I think interestingly, Ty has played natural third last. I think he's touring at third this season. I could be wrong. In the last couple seasons, at least, he's been playing third for Ryan Weeb, who's another very strong skip out of Manitoba, who's playing with Sam Moybreck, one of the top teams in Canada. So they had a bit of a dissolution, but they played together at the Mixed Nationals last month, and I think they finished fourth. I was there, and they were good shooters both. So Ty will bring a shooting capability, no doubt. So it's nobody around here has seen that team really as formed yet. But anyways, as Andrew already said, Daniel has been holding the fort down pretty well here in Super League. And so I'm expecting tonight to see a lot of rocks in play. I think both teams enjoy having lots of rocks in play and lots of options to play with.
Yeah, we mentioned Pettigrew, and we talked a lot about Lamswood's team already, but back to Kenny for a second. Ken Pettigrew has been around the game for a long time. This is a senior contender, and in fairness, a tankard contender if they get hot. They played extremely well so far this year, better than their record indicates. I think they're at 4 losses, so this is a big game for them tonight. You want to stay at 4 for sure halfway through the season, but they've played some of the front runners, and they've had a couple of very close losses, so certainly a better team than the record indicates, but I would think this is going to be a very good matchup.
Yeah, Alex has been a good addition, I believe, to this team. Obviously, Alex went to the Briar with you last year, but just calm, collected, and makes a lot of rocks for, getting up there now in seniors, I suppose, getting close to master's age, I believe, as the elder statesman of the Briar last year at 58. But he's been a great addition to this team, I think, and they seem to be meshing pretty well together.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Alex is a great curler, knows the game very well, as you mentioned, very calm, but very smart guy as well, knows the game inside and out. So, Kenny, Dave Knoftel, Mark Healy, and Alex, I mean, that's a very strong team, regardless what age group you're in, and they can all play.
Yeah. I'm seeing a little bit of, it looks to be the slant toward ice 2 here. We've got a few rocks that have finished across the center line toward ice 2, and this is the typically curly side. So I'd be curious to see how it goes this game.
We've got a little bit of nice movement here on the center line. Like to your point, things are curling towards 2. That center guard is pretty high, but no issues chasing that rock top 12 and hitting almost 3/4 of it. So ice is pretty curly, hopefully, and maybe we'll see some nice shots here tonight.
Yeah, I think this is a good example. You got to go real hard on this one. This one's coming up. Oh, no, just clean. It can be a little challenging on sheet 3 sometimes to throw at that quadrant. You throw that out turn, and when the pebble's fresh, it can grab those few early ones and really show a lot of curl. So thankfully that one held on. Actually, quite a nice roll. We've seen a couple nice rolls now. So this would be a key roll as well if he can manage to roll behind his own corner guard here. He'd be set up pretty well for the deuce for sure, at least. Because like Andrew, you were saying, that high guard, no matter what Kenny manages to put around, it's going to be accessible with the way it's curling. I mean, the rocks have been sharpened within the last couple weeks. Really, you're looking at more risk of crashing, which this one looks like to do, than not being able to chase something. And as we see now, that's going to be a non-factor. I mean, it's not a huge loss for Bruce and Lamswood, but it does take away that opportunity to make the nice hit and roll and really say to Kenny, where are you going to put one that I can't get at you? Now Ken can throw a better guard, and if it's tight enough, you'll probably see an attempt or two to run it back.
So for those of you who are tuning in, curious about some other scores, have no fear. As the night goes on, we'll bounce around from sheet to sheet and try to update everybody as best we can based on the results across all 6 sheets here. We've got some of the front runners are playing here tonight. Interesting matchup on sheet 6. Undefeated Greg Smith sits top of the standings, is playing a very good young team in Simon Perry. So we'll see how that one shakes out as the night goes on. There's a few other good ones. So we'll try to keep you posted as best we can.
Just as a total side note to that, you won't see it on the stream, but it looks like Simon Perry and the boys are rocking the pink jerseys, and we actually have 2 men's teams this year with the pink flavored jerseys, them and Team Shoe, which I believe might be a first. They look quite similar.
That's a new look for Perry this year. I thought they had kind of the Italian look going last year, a little green, red, and white.
Yeah, I just looked out, and I think they might be brand new because I don't think I've seen them.
Hopefully they still got the other ones.
The alternate road and away. There's nothing wrong with multiple uniforms.
All right, so back to our feature sheet. We did see the run back pick out shot rock, but now it gives Kenny a chance to hook one around that center guard. If he can get one in here, top 4, bite top button. Pretty strong situation to be in at this point, for a force if nothing else.
Yeah, it's and if you do get a good one, you're trying to run back of your yellow and make it stick early in the game. It's a tough choice to know whether what's the highest percentage make in terms of the turn you pick. I mean, you've got the out turn that's curling a lot, and the in turn that you got to throw down the middle with the fresh pebble, and you don't really know what it's going to do. So it's you get this You get this reasonably even over half buried, over half buried. The chases aren't automatic right now because you don't know what the ice is going to do, but this one's coming up anyway. I think it's going to be a non-factor. As I mentioned earlier, that particular quadrant really wants to curl to the center, and we're really seeing that slant so far. You've seen a number of rocks now really hook toward that center line, and a couple of wicks off the guards already. So Steve Bragg playing third for Dan Bruce. Looks like he might be advocating for the split here, which is not a bad call at all. If you can navigate the line and split both of them in, should have an excellent chance to score two. I mean, you could also choose the simpler option, just try to draw around the intern, and with the risk there that Ken might just follow you and force you to one. And Ken is very, very good at throwing those cap draws, top house. He's going to be close. So it looks like they have settled on the split here.
Love the split call here.
Yeah.
Going hard for his two right away. I mean, you could hit a quarter of a rock, poke half of it behind that blue, roll deep to the other side of the rings. And Pettigrew's got some decisions to make.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be a half rock perfect split so that they're even. You just got to make sure the one you're touching is getting in the house. Yeah, and like you said, if you do get that quarter, I mean, he's probably going to be forced to hit the one that's in the 12-foot, or 8-foot, the shooter that spills in.
Carter showed me a video. She said good luck. Oh my god.
It looks to be somewhat close. They're going on and off, so calling for curl and for to hold it. Oh, and it looks like it over curled on them. But they got away with a nice tap all the same.
Great result. That's a great result.
Yeah. Did they call that in the end?
No, I think it was the split was the call, I think. But, I mean, that certainly worked. Absolutely.
It does.
That works well.
Yeah. Ken's got a choice now to either outdraw it to block the hole. I mean, if you block the hole, Dan's got to throw a different tap, or play the blue run back and try to stick it. So a number of choices here, I think. Which one do you think you'd be inclined to play at this point? If you were Ken.
If I would be inclined to play the run back.
Right. And I think that's what he's choosing.
Yeah. Kenny's choosing that as well, but I wouldn't have been shocked if he called a draw here. Kenny's is a touch guy, and he's always got draw weight pretty close to his back pocket. So, but he's going to try the straight run back. Nose hit here. Put some pressure back on Danny.
I'm gonna predict he's either making it, or if he does miss, I'm gonna take a just straight up guess here that he'll miss low side. Not because that's any kind of tendency, just because we've been seeing that real swing here. So we'll see what happens. They're just cleaning right now, so if it holds up, it should be really close. And I was dead wrong.
Oh.
He made it. Did he get enough to get it out? Oh.
Close. Oh, it's out.
Oh.
Great sweep. Dave Noftel. Great sweep.
Look at that. Davey Noftel with the power sweep. Yeah, they didn't do anything too crazy on the line at all. They just kind of just did natural things. So, what a great angle we got going here now.
Having another look. It appears to be out from the overhead, but
are they going to take on the split? It's another rock higher now. It's kind of challenging to get your shooter in, I think.
It's definitely trickier now.
It's not automatic by any means, but he's choosing to do this. I mean, you could just take your blank, but.
And who knows? Maybe it's a 3. Throw a stick on it.
Oh, right. Yeah, we have seen indications that it's not. Some rocks that have seemed like they're out have ended up being in. We've had that happen ourselves, I think, once or twice. I don't know if it's twice, but certainly once there a few weeks back. So if he thinks it's anywhere close, this is not a bad idea at all. And he just threw the tap, so, it's a foot wider and a bit higher, but you still got to think he's going to be close. Here he comes. As Andrew clicks around on the angles, everybody. We're still trying
figure this
We
out.
are amateurs indeed, and we won't pretend to be anything but. He's going for, looks like
Straight
just a
tap.
straight tap here. It's going to be a little too late to try to sweep that for the blank, I think. Oh, they're not even looking
No,
at it. So
not
he
putting
did
a stick
elect to
on it.
just play, I think I might have been tempted myself just to take my blank there. Take the hammer over into 2.
Veteran move, Dave Knopfler. Kick it away right away.
Kick it away. Don't give him a chance.
Kick it away.
Yeah.
Turn around, walk away. All right.
I don't
Phil.
know anything about kicking rocks away really fast.
Well, we're
by
not
the
going to get
way.
into that tonight. We'll leave that alone. Anyway,
Inside joke.
after no, not really.
Not really.
After one end of play here, Lamswood picks up a single in the first, and volleys it back to Kenny with hammer and 2. All right, just take a quick peek around here at some other action. I had mentioned an interesting game on sheet 6 between Greg Smith and Simon Perry. Looks like Greg Smith has picked up a deuce in the first, so he leads 2-0. We've got Team Locke and Team Tipple playing on sheet 5. Looks like a blank in the first end. Team Nathan Young is playing against Evan Kearley on sheet 4. It definitely won't be a blank down there. There's a lot of rocks in the ring, so we'll update you as soon as that one shakes out. On sheet 2, testing my eyesight now, Trent. Sheet 2, we've got Jeff Thomas, the surprise of Super League. Defending Major League champ, makes the jump into Super League this year and is currently at 4-2, 5-2, I think. So
Defending Major League champion.
Jeff and his Masters team playing very, very well. And it appears that Stacy Curtis picked up a single on Jeff Thomas in the first end. And on the far end,
1-0 Sarah Hill over Team McNiven's Pub, Randy Turpin.
1-0, if you didn't catch that. Sarah Hill over Team McNiven's Pub, skipped by Randy Turpin. So we'll keep you posted as the night goes on. Again, some interesting matchups here. We'll come back to sheet 4 in a few minutes. As I mentioned, there's a lot of granite in the house in the first end down there. So when that shakes out, we'll certainly update everybody on the score between Young and Kearley. And right now, back to our feature matchup. Center guard is up, and it looks like a draw attempt went deep. So
Yeah, you could pick here if you're Bruce. This is the defensive call, which is nothing wrong with. You could also choose to leave that as sort of fodder and backing, and just have come around and placed one top 4. You sort of let Ken and team off the hook with that miss. I mean, if you're going to play that shot, it looked like a lot of weight, honestly. No guarantees on the line right now, but at the same time, by rolling out, now you've given Ken the chance to place one better in there.
did you say fodder and backing?
Yeah.
I mentioned Rod Feltham text. He's Aaron's fodder.
Fodder.
I don't know
Yeah,
if it's
that's
the
right.
same.
Yeah.
Probably not the
Different
same.
kind of fodder, but
Oh, well.
concept still applies. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I would say it's playing. Yeah, you're gonna, regardless of the call, last shot. I suppose you're playing into Ken's strength either way, just by virtue of coming deep on your first. So in any event, now we're into the middle. Oh, we got to update the score. That's on us. There you go. We got it, folks. All right, so we've had a freeze attempt kind of over curl and make for a situation. I gotta imagine Ken is probably gonna loop one again around and maybe choose the same turn, maybe not. Oh, he's going to choose the different path. So he's gonna go around his wide one, which I like. And he's changed his mind again.
Well, I think we've seen there's a lot of curl on this in turn coming back towards
There
sheet
is,
2.
yeah.
So, they just threw it here. They know the line. Clearly swoops in there nice. Mark Healy can certainly make some rocks curl for you. So I would expect this one to be close.
I would say it's got to be very curly because that broom was wider than I've seen
Yeah, it's just
most
hanging.
brooms this year.
It's just
Out on the
really
edge of the 12-foot. I think you might have found a ledge with that one. That or just heavy. Or both. That's still cooking.
Yeah, it was a lot of ice, no doubt. A lot of ice, but certainly.
If you look at it, I mean, it's still only finished at the edge 4, so I think he probably did hit a ledge there. It can be tricky. I mean, you know, like any curling club sheet, there's usually a point in the 12-foot where you hit a ledge. And it looks like, what's Bruce doing here? Just trying to run back, clean some stuff up. Just a straight run here would be pretty good if you're Bruce.
Still keeping my eye on sheet 4 for those of you at home who are curious about Young and Kearley. Looks to be Nathan Young line 1 for sure. And trying to navigate his way in to score a potential second or even third point. He might be sitting 2. It's hard to tell. But there's a lot of rocks. There's a couple of blues in around the button. There's 4 yellows all around the front of it. So stay tuned.
Well, it looks like Nathan King did manage to get the blue out of there. He also moved the corner guard, so he must have wicked off it on the way by. We were too busy looking at sheet 4. It was my job to keep my eye on the game, and didn't do that, so...
Oh, it looks like Nathan just threw it away, I think. Didn't want to mess
2.
around. Didn't want to mess around with that.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's 2.
There were 6 or 7 rocks in the 4-foot there. It looked like blue might have gotten 2. Nice looking come around by Ken here. Might poke out a little bit. I mean, top 12 is not bad. It makes for a shorter run back, but there's no shortage of curl at all coming home on that intern, as you already alluded to. Since the rocks were sharpened a couple weeks ago, and as the effects of the flood start to fade away, we're starting to see curl, a fair bit of curl on all sheets. Trying to hold it straight here on the run back. It's not too far away. Might be a little low. He's a little low. That's to Kenny's favor, as he's now got a double corner guard. You know, you're going to draw around that and try not to place it for a double, but if he's T-line's pretty good.
Staggered cool.
Yeah. You know, a little high. I think he's indicating you might leave a double if you leave it, you know, biting top 12. But as long as you're top 4 depth as far as T-line. And even if you're T-line, Bruce will have a choice to make. I mean, I can't imagine if he's just behind the tee that he's going to choose to freeze to it and not try to play some kind of hit and roll off the center line 1. Especially this early in the game and with a 1-point lead. So... we'll see now if he can get the weight right, because I don't know if there's been... well, I guess he did start the end with a draw this way, or was that last... that was last end. It's not light, and as we know, the second end is always fastest around this club. It is sitting. So now we'll see the choice, and like I said, he's thinking about it, but he's not going to choose it. He's still thinking about whether he wants to draw or not, but the question I have in my mind is, once he makes this, if he doesn't make the roll perfect, do you think Ken's going to wrap another one around those yellows? And just leave the yellow if it's in the house.
Sweeping this hard for curl. Or to keep it straight, sorry.
Keep it straight. He's rolled away. I think if you're Ken, you
gotta
gotta go around.
You gotta
the
go around
guards.
again.
Oh, he's thinking about the hit. I'm very surprised.
Yep, I thought he would have drew.
Given that this is second shot and the way Ken likes to play, I can only assume he's a little bit fearful of leaving a double. Oh, he's changed his mind. He didn't appear to take much convincing there. I didn't realize Dave was using the stabilizer. Is that a new thing, or has he
He
been
did.
using that for
He
a
took
while?
he had a permanent loan from Keith Jewer. He's not happy about it, I don't think.
Interest free?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This looks pretty good if they can drag it there.
Yeah,
Buck a
I think they're
piece.
going to do it. You'd think about switching to try to get more curl, but I'm not sure how much into directional sweeping the boys are.
It's pretty good, but I think Danny can see most, if not all of that.
Yeah, it's hard to perfectly tell, but it looks mostly open. Given what he's indicating, it might even be there for a double. So what's the conversation here? Just trying to pick the right line weight combo?
I'm not sure if he's got enough to make that double. I'm going to say he does. Like, to me, from this angle, and I know we're off to the side a little bit, I think he got that's at least got to be edge on edge with that yellow guard.
Yeah, Steve is
And,
indicating that.
hair high, make the double, roll to
Yeah.
the middle. Where the broom is, you got to think he's throwing some weight at that.
Nose is it like? Well, I guess nose is probably really hard to get to. You gotta keep your shooter in mind here. I mean, like your shooter is really important, even if you don't make the double, but you roll the shooter in a great spot. This is close. Great
That's
shot.
a great shot. Yep.
Great shot. So, going back to our last comment, we did say we think he's going to draw for sure, but, I did say there might be some hesitation about leaving the double. So that's what transpired. But
That's it.
I
Risk
don't think
reward.
it makes the shot call wrong. It didn't seem to have the weight maybe to get over and really bury for them.
Kenny's going to go for the long roll. That's a long roll.
Again, an option. I mean, at this point, if you're Cannon really going for two, you could just choose to draw around
it, yeah.
around the one in the top 12. I would say that would more so play to his strength, but because this is it's a tough roll to get. I mean, there is a lot to roll behind, but there is and there isn't at the same time. I mean, you're talking about a roll to a 3 foot wide area to be useful.
Easier to draw there.
Easier to draw there. Yeah. And another factor is if you make the roll, you're in front of the tee line, which makes the run back shorter, whereas you could draw and be shot at the back 8. It might let him off the hook, but it wouldn't do yourself too much damage because then you just follow him down again and you get your one for sure. Here, even if he doesn't make a good hit, if he rolls out, it gives Dan a chance to apply some extra pressure. You go edge on edge, side 4, cut down the scoring area. So we'll see if this stops, but it looks like it's really curling
This
on
is
him.
close.
Oh,
This
this
close.
could be really good. That's an excellent roll.
That's beautiful. Great shot. Kenny Pettigrew.
So, in effect, he's got the exact same shot as what he just played if he wants to play it.
Why would you draw there when you just roll there like that?
What do we know? Apparently, it's made for jokes.
Great shot.
Tankard threat, Ken Pettigrew, as you say. Plays like that, it'll be
Anyone can win that.
yeah.
Anyone that gets
It'll be
hot.
Sunday afternoon for sure. So, okay, they talked about the same run, but it looks like they've settled on the draw follow. So, and the upside here is you don't need to get fully buried. You get somewhat buried in the right distance. It's going to be tough to remove it without jamming.
That was a great hit and roll from Ken
That
Pettigrew.
was really good.
I mean,
It
for
was the
those
best
for
place to
those
roll,
who
too.
are listening who don't curl at a high level, you have no idea how difficult that is to make that 10-foot roll. I mean, that's precise. That's a great shot.
Yeah, to roll double, like basically to roll double or triple the length of the area you have to roll to. You know, you get a 3-foot area. Oh, is he by? Oh, he chipped it.
Take a look.
But I think he needed to chip it just for weight. In the end, he's partially buried, but Ken is going to have the chase to be able to come around and tap it far enough to score his deuce. It's not automatic. We haven't seen this chase weight, I don't think, yet Andrew thrown in the game in terms of like a hack.
I'm not sure how much he's got to scale this back. This looks to be fairly wide open. I would think he could probably throw certainly a board.
Yeah, it looks like he's throwing board. I mean, with the ice he's given, I don't think so what we often see on these, especially away from the center line, when you're not touching the center line, is you're going to get some move early, and then typically it straightens out a bit. So if he's in the realm of board here and he can see the whole thing, I give him a good chance to make this shot. Right now it's just a clean, and now he's on it for curl. It's sort of hanging on that center line. I'm still thinking it's got a good chance to finish, but it's thrown hard, Andrew. That's a control almost. It's going to roll too far. He chose to throw a fair bit of weight at that. Like more than I would have thought.
Yep, a little bit of a missed opportunity for sure. He'd love to get your 2 into, but unfortunately, Ken Pettigrew, after a beautiful roll on his first one, hit and rolls out on his deuce attempt. So after 2 ends of play, we are tied up here 1-1 between Ryan McNeil Lamswood, skipped by Daniel Bruce. Team Quality Matters, skipped by Ken Pettigrew. And we'll be back in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, folks, we're back here on sheet 3. We got some action here in the third end, which is nice to see. It's a few rocks and plays. This should be an interesting end. Ryan McNeil Lamswood, of course, skipped by Danny Bruce, has hammer tied 1-1 in the third, and has got a nice setup with 2 frozen rocks, top button. Looks like Kenny is trying to play a run back or double peel. Opens up the front a little bit. My esteemed colleague is back with some snacks, so we're good to go.
We're back.
We're back. All right, while Danny's trying to figure out his next shot here, let's kind of zip around the sheets and update everybody. On sheet 6, Greg Smith made a beauty on his last, but it looks like Simon Perry managed to draw for his 1. So that game currently now is 2-1 for Greg Smith in the third. Smith has hammer.
I can give the round.
On sheet 5, we've got the battle of the cousins between Tipple and Haley Guju. Locke and Tipple. Right now, Tipple
3-0 for Tipple.
booked a 3 in the second, so he's up 3-0 after 2.
On ice 4, we've got a hit for 2 for Team Kearley. Now last rock appears to be thrown by Dylan Hancock. And no go. It's 1. So it's 2-1 for Nathan. Thank you. Tied at 1s on ice 3. 2-1 on ice 2 for Team Jeff Thomas, who just made a nice shot for 2. And appears to be 1-0 on sheet 1, but I don't know what happened in the second end. So there we have it. No.
All right, you're all caught up. So we're back on our feature sheet. Danny Bruce is sitting 2 in the 4-foot, top button frozen. And looks like he's calling tight
Protect
guard,
those
maybe
as
top
long
12.
as you can.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I'd keep it in front of the house. At this point, I mean, I think I like a 2-3 just because if you throw it in the 4 zone, it gives a chance to Kenny to throw hard and maybe keep a shooter in the
tighter
house.
it is, the easier it is to move those rocks around for sure. It's a good setup right now.
Of course, this should be made as guards are easy for everyone but the skip.
Shots fired.
Hey, I've been there. It's no fun.
Looks like Greg Smith's team is playing with 3 tonight. Chris Ford is absent.
This needs distance. Or else it's going to leave a piece exposed. All right, so I think Ken can come around.
The right side of it.
He could tap it through, I think, leave a shooter right on the nose, and maybe squeeze it by. Maybe. Clean up the end a little bit from Kenny's perspective.
He's from a sports city or something.
By leaving the guard, which he's going to do. I mean, Dan will still have options even if the shot is made, but this needs to curl. This needs to curl a lot, Andrew. And he's still shot 2. That turns the tables a fair bit on the rest of the end. Now, Dan and squad are in very good position for multiple points right now. I think something in the top 12, top 8 range, half buried.
Yeah, you're sitting 2 guarded with hammer. You're in a pretty good spot. And you're throwing.
And you're throwing, and the guard is, in pretty much perfect position on the 2 in the house.
Steve Sporty Bragg trying to put some pressure on here. Typically, Sporty would be in our seats. For those of you listening, obviously, Sporty Bragg is one of the voices of the Tankard and Scotty's come provincial time, and something that he really enjoys is doing the commentary, and he does a great job. but he's been tasked with playing with Daniel and
This is a
crew
good
this
shot.
year. And Steve's been around the block. He's played in a number of
has.
Travelers National Championships. Very good curler in his own right. So a great ad there, and just a great teammate.
Best part, he's still rocking the hammer.
I think
Past
he's the only
point
one.
where it's even cool.
I think he's
What?
the only one left.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Ford tried it for a few years, I think, went with it for a while. Was he using it when he was playing with you?
Yeah. When Chris
Really?
Ford started playing with us in 2019, he had the hammer for a year.
Okay. I didn't know if it
certainly-
crossed over when he was
No,
playing with
certainly
you.
part
or
of
you
part of that year anyway.
forbidded
It's
it.
not a full year,
Okay.
and then made the switch.
Forbade is not a word. All right.
All right, so Kenny
Is he playing on the
he's
back one?
Playing the back one. He's
Okay.
ignoring that top
I mean, because
situation.
you can't. What are you going to do with the top one? Maybe slash the double. You're probably jamming it. This does play to Ken's strength. If he gets a good freeze on the back, or even
No,
hit and
he's hit
roll
it. He's hit
onto
it.
his own blue, is that what he's trying here? Is there a path to get shot rock here?
I don't know if he can get shot rock, but I mean, if he hits and rolls, even if he hits and stays, he may leave some kind of a bump double to get those back blues. So
Could, yeah. Or Dan may just choose if he's only second shot at this rock, Dan could choose on this rock to come around and just draw one in there. Either way, this one needs to be made.
yeah, you got to make
If
something.
you
good
roll
here.
away, you're in a world of hurt. It looks like he's not wide, so he's close. This does look close. Is he gonna just hit the nose, or does he have it? Oh, that's a pretty good shot. I mean, he did get shot rock, but you know, if I'm Dan, I'm still liking my setup here. Come around, tap it, maybe stay patient. You can use the top two to get there if you want with the double tap, but I think right now I like the freeze tap lie two and can make a really good one on his last.
Get a better angle of what's going on if the boys move out of the way. Let's see if we can get the overhead here.
There we go.
Yeah, that's a good shot of it.
So if what Dan's talking about, I think, is like, how do we get around? And I mean, if you tap and maybe just sit there on the nose and roll for that pocket, then no matter where Ken puts it on his next rock, if he manages to make a good draw or freeze, I think you're gonna have either a yellow onto it or some kind of pick off, at least for two. He'd probably have to come right to you in dead freeze and have to make it perfect to avoid a score of 2 or 3.
Just from a camera angle perspective, we're clicking around here on this end, and I have no idea if people at home are seeing these different camera angles. If people can see that overhead shot, and
Let us know.
Yeah, send me a text. I'm getting
Rod,
random
let us
texts.
know, please.
Keith Jewer's texting me, Rod Feltham. Anyone who's tuned in, please let me know if you can see that overhead shot, and it'll make me feel better. All right, so it looks like they decided to ignore the bump situation and just directly go at the back one. He doesn't have a whole lot of that, I don't think, from the hack, but we have seen it curls pretty good in that direction. So,
Any guesses on the weight here? I would have thought it would be like a literally like a back 8, back line kind of shot,
Yeah,
but
it
based on the broom.
doesn't look like a whole lot of ice for back 8.
No, that's what I'm thinking. There's never a board weight double roll away kind of thing, is there? Try to bring.
Well,
I don't think there's a need
you
to
hit
play
and
it,
roll
but
away and live fourth shot. What does Kenny do?
Probably
I mean,
draws.
the other blue one is accessible on the in-turn on Danny's last if he's left with that. This one seems to be out there. They're sweeping hard for curl right now. Definitely want to stick
He's
around.
going to have a third of it. Oh, he's got a good chunk of it.
And it stays on.
Interesting. For anyone who can't see the overhead, we apologize. It's not only freezing, but it's also massively delayed. Not sure if we gotta confirm as.
You could think it's all out easy.
So I guess now, if you're Ken, yeah, you get back button
Well, I mean,
lined up with those 2 yellows.
I don't think that one in the back 12 right now is going to factor in. There's,
You'd need a complete miss.
yeah. I mean, even if you try to missile double and jump that blue one across, it probably kicks into it. I don't even know if that's there.
And it's
Just
probably
freeze-
only for 2
freeze
if
the back.
you do that. Right?
Freeze,
'Cause
freeze the back is a tough
yeah.
deuce.
Oh, Ken can't do it. I was even thinking if. Yeah, so this will be. Like, if he's anywhere in the realm, like, Dan will. If he's shot, it's going to be tough to score the deuce. If he's short or long, then Dan's got the in-turn draw for 2. This is Ken's specialty, though. These kind of placement draws,
That's well out
especially
there,
around
too.
the middle.
That's well out there.
It's well out there, and it doesn't look like it needs any help for weight. I mean, it's close.
Yeah, finish in there.
Oh, he's got
That's
a great
really
rock
good.
made.
That's really good.
Oh. It's bread and butter for Ken Pettigrew right there.
For shot
That's
rock.
not the one I'd want to leave him. So it's either the double tap for shot, or if you double tap, Andrew, I don't think there's a way to get 2
No, I don't think so.
unless you get low with the in-turn and the top 8 one spins into the 4-foot, but I think that's a lot to ask. I think that's a lot to ask.
Yeah, I agree. The way they're lined up right now, I don't see anything on those top 2 yellows for Daniel to score 2. And the draw Kenny just threw is overburied. So that's going to be tough to move.
I think it's got, I guess at this point, you're just trying to use
Draw
your
for
hammer
one.
point and, draw for 1. Great shot for Ken to, 4 or 5 shots ago, I think we were saying, it's looking great for Dan to score 2, if not 3, if not more. But that was a get out of jail card for sure that was just played by Ken.
Getting some compliments on text from Stephen Trickett. Appreciate that, Stephen. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. He's home sitting on his couch watching with the other 7 people tonight.
He can't hate it that much if he's watching.
Oh. It was a guaranteed assumption
You
he'd
got
be
to get
watching.
by here. You got to get by, Andrew. It's really close to his own yellow. Oh, he's got it. Oh, did he? Did he make it for 2? Did he make it for 2? He made it for 2. What a shot.
Didn't see that coming.
Did he call that?
That's the other question. I don't know.
Who cares?
Glenn Goss, who cares if he called it? It's 2. Hang it 2.
Who cares?
It's not how, it's how many.
That is the greatest truth that's been spoken tonight. I guarantee you that.
All right, amazing shot from Danny Bruce. Big shot, hooks it 2 in the third, and in a situation where we didn't see that one coming.
Did
so,
not see a shot for 2.
No.
I will say 100% did not see that coming. If it was called, major props. If it wasn't called, who cares? It's a deuce. Huge.
I had the pleasure of playing with Danny for a year. Daniel Bruce played second with me for a year, and he's got all the shots in his repertoire. There's no doubt about it. He's a very good player. Skipped his junior team to a national final, silver medalist, a number of years back, and he's always in the mix and whatever he's into. So very good player, great shot for 2.
Like Zegos.
He does like Egos, yep. Lambs was up 3-1 after 4. Pettigrew takes the hammer, into 4th. Pettigrew gets the hammer back in the even end here. So we've got a good one.
Yeah, I'm still in shock. That was talk about people who may not fully understand the game, or I don't think we got many people like that on the stream right now. Everyone kind of understands it, but those are one of those ones that don't look very impressive, but are just as hard as a quad.
Okay, so we're going to take an opportunity to bounce around the rings here and see what's going on. So we'll start here at sheet 6. That's our vantage point. We're sitting behind sheet 6. Greg Smith was forced to take 1 in the third, so he leads 3-1, playing 4. Simon Peary's got hammer in the fourth, and currently drawing around a corner guard. Sheet 5, we got Tipple and Locke. Tipple still leading 3-0. I think they may have blanked the third. Sheet 4, always some rocks around in sheet 4 between Young and Kearley. At the moment, Nathan Young leads 2-1 with hammer in the third. It's kind of a slow-moving game over there. Our feature game, obviously 3-1 for Lamswood / Bruce. Playing 4, Kenny Pettigrew got hammer in 4. On sheet 2, we have got Stacey Curtis leading
Back with the deuce.
3-2, hook to 2 in the third. She leads 3-2, playing the fourth. And Jeff Thomas has hammer in 4. And all the way down, we've got a 2-2 tie between McNiven's Pub, skipped by Randy Turpin, and Sarah Hill. So you're caught up?
Sarah Hill skipped by Laura Strong for a large majority of the year. I think Sarah gets in for a few games as she can with the shift work life.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
Tough to say or tough to do?
Tough to do. That's tough to do.
Yeah.
You know, you're living in Gander, working in Gander, and try to get in here on a weekly basis to curl. That's hard.
It is.
And,
so Laura's
kudos,
been good to step in.
Kudos for her and Adam Boland.
Oh, yeah.
Who made that trek last couple of years. But that's not easy.
Yeah.
Especially in the winter.
Adam coming in and playing a number of games. Was it last year for Team Greg Smith? He made more than half the games from Gander, so not ideal. But if you want to play, all the top teams from Newfoundland, this is where it's at. So he still wanted to be part of that mix. All right, so what do we got going on here? We got another, looks like early end opportunity for Bruce, although this one's hanging. It still looks a bit jammy. Oh, that's not good. Straight up not good. So instead of line 2 in the house.
Lammy jammy.
Jammy lammy. Lammy jammy.
All right, so it gives Kenny an opportunity to get one around the middle to lie 2 with hammer here in 4.
Curious, would you ever consider going around the corner there? Or I suppose the corner's pretty high. Yeah, this is
that corner up there. Oh yeah.
Well, it's high. It's on the sign, and also Ken does like playing in the middle, so I'm not shocked by any means with this one. I do find Ken enjoys really choking off the middle of the ice. Like he really does like to shrink the scoring area. Wow, that one really went.
Picked, I think. Yeah, that was well out there and it just warped.
That is that intern coming home again, though. I mean, we are seeing some pretty big warp as the ice breaks down a little bit. That intern coming home appears to be just absolutely bending. Something to keep an eye on as the ice flattens out. See if it maintains that degree of slope from the wall. Or, sorry, not from the wall, from ice 4.
So, for Pettigrew's perspective, not a great situation now with staggered center guards. It's not ideal if Danny can get one underneath that.
No, this is the classic. Whoever gets there first has a major advantage. So this would be big if Nathan King can make this hit and roll. There's not much broom on it right now. It just looks like they're on the outside sweeper, and it's my observation right now is as the game is going on and as the pebble's breaking down, the slant in the ice is becoming more pronounced. So we're seeing straight Very straight on the straight side, very bendy on the bendy side.
See where Kenny puts the broom.
He's at least mid 12,
Yeah.
you know.
I mean,
Okay, well, earlier in the game we saw this and it kind of, I mean, it was a bomb, but still didn't
Yeah.
get over there all the way. So we'll
That
see
draw
now.
you're talking about, he was edge 12, and we thought there might be a little bit of a shelf out there. That was a little
Yeah.
inside, but still appears to be
this
hanging.
one's hanging, so it must be challenging to put the broom down right now in that spot.
Yeah.
Because if you're
It's
in a
coming
little
in
too
pretty good.
narrow, it's trying. It's just heavy. That's actually good line. So it's really coming over there. It's really coming over late. As it starts to hit the break point by the hog line, it's just bending. And so now you probably have to throw the curly turn because the other turn just is probably not going to even bury behind that yellow rock.
So Daniel Bruce without hammer is going to ignore the back one. Looks like it's pretty much buried on the screen, but with the amount of curl that's there and the distance between those guards and that back rock, definitely accessible if you wanted to. But it could be one of those situations of, if we go at the back one, they're going to draw, so let's beat them in there. So let's see what kind of finish we get on this draw. As Trent mentioned, this is a very, very tricky spot right now.
It's got to go. Got to go for line.
I think that's on the top.
Yeah,
That's
it's just
really
warping
warps
over.
there, yeah.
Well, now it's an interesting situation because he's actually improved the angle for the taps for himself, and Ken, just looking at it visually, is almost forced to the straight side. So now we're going to get a sense of whether you can actually finish this way. So I'm curious. He's taking back into the 12-foot, so he's got to have confidence that it's going to finish up on that side too. I'm just curious if it will. Sometimes when you get this kind of situation going on, you actually get more curl way out wide and less curl in the 8-foot and 4-foot. So we'll see now if he can manage to navigate around. He is going for line right now.
That blue-yellow guard situation is definitely a get-out-of-jail card for Daniel Bruce.
It is.
I
And
mean,
look at
that's
this.
got
I mean,
some-
like, comparatively to the other side, this is just not curling.
It's not
Andrew.
finishing at all. No, that's not finishing.
And it's probably surprising them how fast and how far it went because it just doesn't have any finish. So we're really starting to see that slant come into play. I would save that tap angle myself and just play probably the hit and roll. One way to get out of this end, if you're Dan Bruce, is to play the hit and roll. You take a lot of the danger out. You're probably going to be close. You roll a rock. It's pretty good. If it hangs wide, you make the double. He's also talking about the draw, which is, a much more aggressive play for being up 2. Bit of a conversation now. I think Steve is talking about playing on the Blues, if I'm reading his body language correctly. And if Steve is talking about a defensive call, you might want to strongly think about it because he doesn't have much defense in his mental arsenal. I think it would be fair to say.
He's an offensive person. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, what is the call
I
here?
think they are going to
It's gonna
draw.
draw.
I'm a bit surprised. If you make it, it's really good. I mean, like, nothing wrong with this call at all, to be clear. It's just with Ken with the hammer, if you're short, he can play a little punch through, lie 3, and you're really then forced to get another one in there, and then you're playing with fire because you could be looking at a big time score. If you did play the hit, you could have made the double, maybe the nose hit even, or the inside flop. But anyways, a good one here is really good.
It's still hanging. They're sweeping
It's
for curl.
hanging. It doesn't look like it has any curl there right now at all.
Take it all the way to the back blue.
This looks like it's still going to be pretty good for the
That's a
back
good
freeze.
shot. That's a good shot.
All right, solid shot. Very good shot.
Steve Sporty Bragg.
Yeah.
More than just soothing tones on the microphone. This guy can play. He can play.
golf, curling, wrestling. Not sure what order it falls in, but those are the only 3 things he cares about outside
He
of
enjoys
his family
wrestling. He does.
and work. So we're gonna see the follow. If you were Ken, would you try to bump this out a couple feet, maybe rearrange the angle, try to sit a bit low, or is that getting too fancy?
Sure, you're bumping that yellow one very far. Probably come
No, not the
down and
yellow. Just bump the blue back.
oh yeah, for sure. You bump it and sit right in front of it.
See, that's another one that, I mean, I don't know. It's
just
hanging. But if Steve's did finish on the last rock, but this is going to finish on the outside. So now it gives Dan a chance to play,
Hit and roll.
move 2 of those blues, and turn the whole end around. So all set up by Sporty Bragg, Stone Cold Freeze there on the last one.
Stone Cold Freeze. Yeah, he'll know what you meant. I know what you meant. That's the bottom line. Right, so they're sizing it up to see how much air they've actually got here. Can we get an inside roll in what appears to be a very straight spot down that 4-foot line? I think with the right weight, you can certainly make that shot. If you can hit and flop right in front of your yellow right there, I mean, it's going to be very difficult for Kenny to get in there and score.
Yeah, I mean, he must be playing it pretty quiet if he's taking, a good 5 inches off the rock. I mean, this is one it looks real juicy, but you still got to be careful because you could still end up with a pretty bad jam here if you're not careful. So I'd be tempted to play it fairly quiet, especially on such a straight spot, maybe like a board.
I'm not sure how much curl you're going to get with a board waiter there.
Even board maybe too much. There's no need to play board.
No.
Like hack back line, just enough to move. You don't really even need to move that
Just
back
jiggle
blue very
it and
far
sit
at all.
right in front of your
Yeah.
yellow, man. You're gold.
He's on the outside again.
Everything is hanging wide here.
Yeah, this is looking pretty jammy and roll away kind of outcome.
That's not going to work out well.
This is what we've been afraid of. Well, I don't know about afraid of, but observing on. Now, if Ken makes a good draw here, top button buried or, 3/4 buried, Dan Bruce is going to be in all kinds of trouble.
Well, luckily for Danny, that second shot yellow was guarded with 3 blues kicking around, and Kenny's throwing another one. So I don't think the massive end is in play here. I don't think there's a hole between those blue and yellow guards up front.
I suppose he can always use that to get himself out of trouble. There might be a couple inches. It doesn't look like much at all.
No, I mean accessible to hit that back yellow. I don't think there's a hole there for that.
Oh, no. Sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you meant in between the blue and yellow guard if you had to drag it. Yes. No, there's no hole to get to the back yellow. Not automatic. So we're still not sure. Can they see the overhead? Did we get confirmed?
They cannot. No, that's only.
They cannot.
It's only for our
So
benefit.
for those, inquiring minds, there's about 3 to 4 inches of separation between the blue and the yellow guard, so it's not a draggable rock.
Yep.
Be tough to drag. So they're managing the line here. That's over curling. I don't know if it's short or if it just grabbed or if he was just tight, but that's not going to work. If anything, it might set up the blue-yellow here. No. Either way, Dan is going to have
Hit and roll, lie two.
a hit and roll here to take the end away from Ken.
I mean, he can hit and roll big, really. You got loads of
I
room.
think you want to, yeah. If you don't, is there ever a world you leave a double for 3? I'm not sure. You'd have to jam this one. Yeah, the only thing you don't want to do if you're Dan is hit it just off nose high, jam the back, and leave a double back for 3. So as long as you're even nose, like nose to me, there's no double. So it'd be a force. And if he can make a nice hit and roll, it's going to be
See,
at
we get a
worst
split
a force.
time on this hit. Just see what kind of weight we're talking about here when we're talking about this There's minimal ice, but it's in a very straight spot. I'd be curious to see if we can get some kind of a gauge on a split time here.
It's obviously not an easy throw. I mean, like the wide jam is very much in play, and if you do that, you just got to make sure your shooter rolls away. Oh, he's going for line here. He looks like he's got clearance.
I got 12-2.
Ooh,
That's
this is going to be really
That's
good.
a great shot. That's a great shot. I
Now
got
Ken
12-2,
is
so a
in.
little basically hack weight.
Hack-
And
Strong hack, yeah.
with a broom for what in some cases you'd see for easy to normal weight. So definitely a straight spot, but they managed to find a way to get in there.
That's ideal.
So right back at you after a great shot on Kenny's last one in the previous end. He's got to come up with another one here.
Well, I mean, let's keep in mind that's two absolute darts from Dan Bruce on his last rocks, the last two ends after the incredible deuce last end, the perfect roll this end. Andrew already said he's got all the shots and he's on full display here this evening.
Yeah, Danny's a very good player. So I'm assuming they're just going to play something quiet just to bump that one off the
think
button
it's
for
just- I
one.
think
I
he
don't think
called
there's
like a
anything
back.
else there.
4, back 8, tap. Just, punch it 2-3 feet and not roll too far. I mean, he's got to be careful, though. His first one definitely went more on him than what I would have liked to have seen. I mean, he ended up... Now, maybe he was just light. It'll still move with draw weight is what I'm saying. So, you want to make sure you are that back 4, back 8, not just fully rely on the sweeping to get it by the guards.
This is definitely the biggest shot of the game so far. I mean, down 2, playing 4,
Oh, yeah.
facing 2. Very,
Yeah.
very difficult, weight-sensitive
If you're
shot.
at all heavy, it's a steal of 2. You're just going to chip off and roll too far. So it's just very precise. Just a clean for the inside sweeper right now, and now he's going. Now we got Alex sweeping for line, so you'd think it'd be
Mark's
close
jumping
unless
in the
it's
curl.
really hanging. Let's see if Healy can save this. It's on the outside. That's going to be a steal of 2. Just seems to be a super tricky spot.
Tough spot for sure.
Yeah.
Very tough.
Great
tough spot.
shot by Dan Bruce to put that pressure on his last.
Well, that is a huge steal of 2 for Daniel Bruce and Team Lamswood here in the 4th to take a 5-1 lead at the halfway point. So we're going to see some aggression coming out of Ken Pettigrew now. He's got to score and look to get a multiple back ASAP. 8 end games here in the St. John Super League, as we see mostly in the World Curling Tour now. But halfway through, you're down 4.
The score is not reflective. I mean, Team Pettigrew has had reasonably good setups deep into the ends.
Yeah. Daniel's
And-
made a few dandies.
Yeah, it's been turned around. I mean, that end was trouble until Steve made that great freeze, and the end before Dan made that incredible shot for 2. So it's it's not like Team Pettigrew has played poorly at all. It's just wrong way misses at the wrong times, and vice versa. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Okay, folks, we're back for the fifth end coverage here in St. John Super League. Ryan McNeil Lamswood leading Ken Pettigrew's Quality Matters team by a score of 5-1 in the fifth. Pettigrew throwing Blue Rocks has hammer and really need to get something going here. Looking for a multiple score. Big steal of 2 by Daniel Bruce, who skips McNeil Lamswood's team last end. And we got a few rocks in play here already. So Lamswood sitting 1 top 8 foot. Pettigrew's got a blue frozen rock right on top. Couple of guards out front, and I think Daniel Bruce just called a center guard. So protect that one as long as we can and do whatever he can to protect this big lead that he's got at the moment. As I'm scanning around the other games tonight, we've got Team Greg Smith playing Simon Perry in an interesting match here on sheet 6. Smith, who's undefeated right now in Super League, leads 3-1 in the fifth. Perry has hammer, and looks like he's in business with rocks behind corner guards at the moment. On sheet 5, we've got Kaylee Locke and Parker Tipple. Tipple leads 4-1 after 4. And has hammer in the fifth. On sheet 4, we got Nathan Young playing Evan Kearley. Young leads 4-2 after 4. Nathan has hammer in the fifth. Our feature game, McNeil Lamswood leads 5-1. Ken Pettigrew has hammer in the fifth. On sheet 2, as I mentioned, Jeff Thomas, pleasant surprise this year in Super League. As we mentioned, won Major League last year, moved into Super League this year, and is playing very, very well, sitting at 2 losses. Right now, he's leading. No, he's not. He's down, sorry. He's down 4-2 to Stacy Curtis in the fifth. And Jeff Thomas's team has hammer at 5. And on the far end, we've got a close one between McNiven's Pub, skipped by Randy Turpin, and Sarah Boland, formerly Sarah Hill. That game is 3-2 right now for Team Boland. Okay, and back to our feature game. We've got some rocks in play. A couple of guards up front, and it looks like Daniel Bruce is pretty much going to hit anything in sight at this point, anything blue, and tried to double, but kicked across the top. So it's going to give Kenny an opportunity to get another one in buried here, and Kenny is going to be trying his best to hook a 3, given this sort of situation at the moment. Just want to throw out some sponsor love here at the moment with all the teams really, but starting with the teams that we're featuring tonight. Quality Matters, skipped by Ken Pettigrew. Quality Matters has been a long-time sponsor of Team Pettigrew and has a connection with Dave Knoftel. Karen and the team of Quality Matters have been sponsoring curling down here for a number of years, and I know the boys appreciate that. And from McNeil Lamswood side, they're sponsored by Asham Curling Supplies. And in fairness, a shout out to all the local businesses that elect to sponsor teams down here. I mean, you know, men's, women's, juniors, seniors, everybody's working towards a goal, and in some cases working towards a dream. And without the support of great sponsors, we have our own sponsors with my team, and yeah, for sure, we'll throw out for our own. You know, we're taking the time to do this tonight, so we'll throw some sponsor love to our own guys as well. Northbrook Construction has been incredible title sponsor for our team, Team Symonds, this year, along with Parties, Browning, and Harvey. Ocean Management Trading, Bannerman Brewery, and of course Hardline Curling. Hardline Curling sponsors the majority of the teams down here, and I've been fortunate enough to be involved with Archie and the boys at Hardline for many, many years. So thank you to all of those sponsors, but to all the sponsors that right across the board here. Competitive curling is, in a lot of cases, a costly venture. You know, if you want to get off the island and do some events away, it's not cheap to do that.
It's not getting any cheaper.
No, it's not getting any cheaper. And certainly airfare and entry fees and things like that. And having sponsorship, regardless what team it is. You know, we all appreciate that from the greater competitive curling circles here. You just can't do it without the help of great sponsors. So thank you.
Unless you're Team Symonds 2023, 2024, in which case you don't need anything and you can go to the Briar.
Hardline curling.
Hardline.
Hashtag Hardline
Huge.
Nation.
Still need the brooms.
Absolutely still need to
And what's going on
Best in the
here
business.
in this end? We get Pettigrew cooking again early.
Yeah, no, he's in business here now. Daniel
Is
tried
that
to
something
double
on the boil?
Daniel tried to double down the middle, hit it too thick, rolled across the top, and gave Kenny an opportunity to get
Loop
another
in.
one in behind cover.
Yeah.
So I
So
think
now
he's
we're
just
in the
trying to-
defense
yeah,
mode, trying to expose the double.
Bombs away. Sporty brag.
Sporty specialty, 9-second peels. We used to have a thing about Sporty. It was fantastic. We'd call the same weight. If the rock was in the house, it'd be 10 and a half seconds. If the rock was in front of the house, it'd be 9 seconds every time, no matter what. It didn't matter what you called. It was always going to be 10 and a half hit in the house, 9-second hit in front of the house. It was
Finesse.
beautifully easy.
Finesse.
Yeah.
That's a talent.
It is, yeah. It's remarkable consistency. His split time, no matter what the shot is, 3:34 every time. Remarkable consistency. So, looks like Ken is going to throw what in effect is a double guard. You wrap your own blue guard around the yellow guard and sort of prevent the single run back from being made. I don't mind that at all right now. You wait at least another rock. And then I'd probably be tempted to come in the house and force Dan Bruce to make a double. I mean, is that double automatic? I mean, it looks a bit staggered. Can we go back to the overhead that only we can see for a second?
All right.
So you gotta hit.
I don't think that's automatic.
No, it's gotta be from a quarter to a third, and any thicker than that. So from the angle that we can see that no one else, those two blues, it's not an automatic double. So if Ken's successful here, which he is at coming around, now he might not have buried enough.
He's going to smash that
slash
blue.
double here.
Yeah, that blue is coming in hard. I mentioned our sponsors a second ago, Trent, and I think I missed Parties Waste Management, and of course, Parties is a big part of our season this year as well. Northbrook is our title sponsor, but Parties and Browning and Harvey as our gold sponsors. We appreciate
hit
everything.
them.
Did I hit them?
Yeah, you did. But
Right.
even if
I
you
just wanna make
didn't,
sure.
then I would
Well,
reiterate,
it's an extra
of
plug
course,
for them. Parties are great.
Steve from Parties, right?
Yep.
No,
All right,
we're
so
thrilled.
Steve Sporty Bragg is going to be running
Steve,
that blue
yep.
one into the other blues here and try to make
Going
some
for-
rocks disappear.
It looks close. I mean, they're back and forth on it. Andrew, if he can get the top double, oh, he jammed it. Oh, then
All
that
right, so
that
Kenny,
actually ungroups the blues.
Yep, Kenny is in
which
business.
It ungroups the blues, which makes the 3 easier than if he had just peeled the guard that he went a bit deep on. So that's too bad. Yeah, if he's on the X of Remax here, Dan's gonna be, having to pull another rabbit out of the hat he always wears. I suppose if he slightly overburies here, you give Dan maybe a chance to get out of jail with a hit and roll on the 4-foot one behind the other yellow, but it's interesting for a 5-1 lead. This is not the end you want to be playing if you're Dan Bruce.
No, absolutely not. But Pettigrew's loving life right now. This is a pretty good setup. Although I think the double,
He's left it maybe even a triple. The
I don't know
triple's
if we can
hard.
get to the inside enough for the triple, but he can certainly make that top double and roll.
Yeah. And roll for shot, which is important. Yeah, he can roll for shot here. So big shot for this could be a major swing of points, Andrew. If you think about it, he could make the double and roll, in which case it's at worst a 1. That'd be gigantic, if not a steal 1. If he picks it straight through the hole, though, it could be a 3 for Ken. Or you could just make the double and roll your shooter out, in which case it's 2 for Ken. So lots of different possibilities on this shot. A high leverage shot. The last rocks that Dan Bruce has had, he's made absolute pistols. So can he make it 3 in a row?
This is Danny's first, right?
Oh, don't mind anything.
Danny's
I'm
first.
saying. Yeah.
Oh, you're doing good. But this is Danny's first.
We need a
Trying
rock
to-
counter.
Yep.
Is what we need.
We're just not in a good vantage point over here. Get it? Nice shot.
Did he bury
Get
it
it
more? Oh, he's got it.
Nice shot. All right, breathe a little sigh of relief there now.
Yeah, Dan just got himself out of jail because I think even if Ken rolls the bury, Dan's going to have an open shot at the exposed blue. So the damage is probably capped to a deuce, barring a complete miss.
Yeah, I think Daniel Bruce would be quite satisfied with Kenny getting a deuce here. 2-point lead, hammer and 6. In a pretty good spot. So, you certainly don't want to give up a 3 at this point with this kind of a lead, but you never know. Kenny makes a good one here. You'll make Danny make a shot for sure. Which way did he indicate the roll here? Is he trying to go left or right?
I think he's going high side.
Okay.
I would. Just even to avoid kind of a... I guess the double's never really there. If you roll low side, you'd have to roll a long way to leave the double. I guess it's just a bit of an overroll.
Close.
It's close. Yep. He's very close. Oh, they might have left the double.
Might have left Danny a double. Yep.
A little bit of casual on that sweep on that one, I feel. I think it might have cut more than they expected at the end.
Got Greg Lockdown here, our photographer tonight for the sports page NL.
Love to see it.
Appreciate everything he does and the great action shots he takes of all the curlers here. Keeping an eye on sheet 6 here as well, as we have been all night again from our vantage point. Simon Perry is drawing for 2. Yep, yes, he's drawing for 2 at the moment to tie that game with Greg Smith. Sheet 6 is a tricky beast, but he's navigated a port, I think, to draw for 2. So we got a tie game on sheet 6. 3-3, Smith.
And Dan has
Perry.
made the double, and Sporty has managed to avoid not killing himself on that jump. Double win.
Yeah, that's going to take some air out of the sails for Kim Pettigrew. So, as I was saying, tied 3-3 on sheet 6 between Smith and Perry. We had a good one here going to 7. On sheet 5, we've got Tipple leading Lock by a score of 4-2, playing in the 6th. Playing in the 7th now, I think.
Flying.
On sheet 4, we have Nathan Young leading 4-2 over Evan Kearley. Evan Kearley, oddly enough, is a sniper in his spare time, likes to shoot guns. Very accurate.
Yeah, most times when people say sniper, they mean something else, but
Yeah, no,
Not in Evan's case.
literally a sniper.
he would be able to shoot you in the head.
He would, and he might one day. Sheet 3, we've got sheet 3 is our feature game with McNeil Lamswood leading 5-1. And Pettigrew drawing for his 1. Sporty Bragg is pounding it back 12, but not quite enough. He probably slowed it down by sweeping, to be fair. So we're at 5-2. Lamswood leads with Hammer up 3, with Hammer going to 6. So Danny's in a good spot right now for Team Ryan McNeil Lamswood. As we look down on sheet 2, we've got Jeff Thomas is trying to hang around in a game against Team Stacey Curtis, but the ladies looked like they're in control, and they've got Jeff playing a long angle run back against a couple here, so not a good situation for our Masters team, Jeff Thomas. And on the far end, it looks as though McNiven's Pub hooked a 2 in the 5th, and now lead in a close game down there, 4-3 over Sarah Boland.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we said Sarah Hill too many times, didn't we?
Oh, I received some text messages about that from our teammates. Don't worry.
Sorry, Sarah.
No.
If you ever watch this back, that's on us.
Sorry, Adam.
And Adam, yeah,
Took
that's
your
right.
name.
Yeah. Once again, we'll be back in a couple minutes here.
Okay, we're back on sheet 3, and Team Quality Matters. Ken Pettigrew was in a bit of a backs are against the wall at this point. 6th and down 3, doesn't have hammer. He's got a couple of staggered guards up front, but Kenny is in steal mode at this point. So Daniel Bruce's goal and objective in the 6th end here is basically score. I mean, take a 1 is fine, but avoid steals at all costs. We've got some really good games going on here. As I've mentioned before, we got a dandy game going on sheet 6 between Greg Smith and Simon Perry, currently tied 3-3, 6, and a lot of great shots made. Two very good teams in a good game. Again, Smith playing with 3. Third, Chris Ford is absent this evening, so he's only playing with 3. And the other close one right now, as mentioned, is on the other end on sheet 1, where we've got McNiven's Pub and Randy Turpin playing against Sarah Boland, and that game right now is a 1-point game in Turpin's favor.
Sarah Hill.
Sarah Boland.
Same
Sarah
thing.
Hill hyphen Boland. Who knows? Sarah. Like Madonna.
Sarah's not even here, so.
Oh. Yeah, all seriousness, I mean, we're on the opposite end of the curling club here. Who is calling the game over there?
Laura Strong.
Laura Strong?
Or Heather Strong. It's hard to tell.
Okay, one of the strong ladies. No, it's Laura. I see her. It's Laura. Laura's in the house. Okay, so back to our feature matchup. Kenny's got those staggered guards. Going to do everything possible to get in and hide. And
We've seen this story before. It
Yeah,
just
steal.
just hasn't been able to fully capitalize on that. Now Dan hasn't made it easy.
Danny Bruce has played very well. Clearly coming off his high in the weekend when his Bills Mafia clinched the AFC East.
You got to think that's a factor.
In a snowy
Very
Sunday
key
evening.
factor.
Yep.
We're seeing this still so this side looks like if the weight is perfect, it'll cooperate
It goes. That's
on
a great
draw,
yeah,
right?
that's
like
a great
that's
shot.
about as good as you can make it.
And he's
Gonna
just
try to
rip.
double peel here and
just
start
rip
to
the
clean
front.
up.
Oh, no, you got him forced here.
Some conversation on our sheet. I think they're just trying to decide which turn to throw here
What's that?
in an effort to clear up that front.
Yeah.
No broom's been laid so far. We got Steve running down after it. It's good enough for the single peel.
Now, decision time for Ken Pettigrew. What are you going to do here? You got shot rock guarded. It's probably not good enough to score. Do you get one? Try to get one closer, or do you protect a little bit longer?
Could freeze your own. You could freeze your own and lie too. I mean, the issue with another guard here is that the current guard's a 2-zone, so like no matter where you throw it, there's not a whole lot of separation. The double peel is always going to be possible.
This is Mark Healy's second stone, I believe.
You know, given the situation and you really want to try to put heat on a steel of 2, do you ever hate just freezing in there, freezing on your own? Because he's gonna peel anyway. So if he peels the top, eventually I like coming in around and freezing your own blue.
Okay. Well, we'll see. I think if they make the double peel, that blue is going to come sailing into the yellow blue anyway in the house.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like a good. So do we got Nathan King throwing third rocks here tonight? I must admit, I thought it was. Or are we just not deep in the end?
I thought it was Steve Bragg.
Yeah. We're just not there yet.
Single peel is made. Let's see what Kenny decides to do. This is Dave Knopfels first. That's first rock. Now he's coming in. He's going to warp around everything.
Yeah.
We know it curls on that side big time. So there's no shortage of curl to get around that rock top 8.
I mean, right now, you got a pretty good steel setup going, at least for 1 point. Because if Dan gets too aggressive trying the run back, you could even stick it in that yellow. So, I mean, yeah, a good shot here. Your heart's still beating.
Hope this one got the weight.
That's close. They might have just given up and done the top freeze, so I mean, that's not bad.
No, it's pretty good. That was your call a couple of shots ago. You like that? You like that play?
Well, I guess I liked it because, it's a long run. I don't think he's trying it because it's too risky on the yellow to jam it, so you're probably just peeling it off. Although he is sweeping the path.
Peel the guard. Kenny throws another one.
Throws another one, and then you lie
bump
3.
the blue.
Or just wrap.
Or wrap. Yeah, you wrap. You could change the
So
angle on
if
those
you
top
wrap
blues if you
and
bump.
not even bury, if you wrap kind of edge on edge and you get a rollout or a chip, if you chip the top, it's still a 3. Getting excited, for 6 shots down the line, but
You draw
that's the
around, those
concept.
top blues are frozen. You can manipulate the drag there, and you might leave yourself a triple.
You could very well leave a triple.
If you bump it and stagger the top blue, it's almost a gimme steal.
Yes. It's just how much you're going to
How
try to
many do you
steal
wanna steal?
multiples.
Yeah.
Given it's the 6th end, I think I think I'd be inclined to try to steal 2, even if it meant leaving the hero, not even the hero triple, just the triple. I like a steal of 1, but I don't love it being down 5-2. I'd want to be a bit greedy here if I was Ken, but we're a long way from that. We're a long way from that still. Couple good guards, or at least one good guard's got to be made. I think it's probably a shot on Ken's last. So we need 2 good guards to be made here. That's number 1. That's pretty good. I think Dan's starting to feel the heat a little bit now because the call is going to be peel, but as every shot goes on, you're like, okay, those blues are still there.
Yep.
I got to deal with them somehow. And, there's some teams that would be tempted to eventually make a play on the yellow. I think that would be a mistake if you're yellow and just leave that blue combination. I think you got to do what Dan's doing, stay patient, and hopefully get a miss on a guard on the next rock.
Well, I mean, we've already talked about that. Skipper throwing guards is
never know.
It's not easy.
You never know.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. It's not hard, but it's not easy.
Oh, when he makes the run back, I think they were trying to peel that and actually ran it straight back.
Interesting. Okay, so how does that change things? That's not too bad for Bruce if you think about it. Ken had a good setup going there. I guess you got to draw around it. You're back into it's changed the framework of how you're going to steal.
Danny's shot rock now, so to your point,
Yeah.
if you're looking to steal multiple, do you move the yellow to lie 3 and give him a free draw to the 8-foot? Or ignore it and take your 1?
This is first, right?
This is first.
So I think I like burying it, but at least button. Kind of almost tempt Dan to either play the slash or the chase freeze and hopefully get a half miss one way or the other. Because if you go full button, maybe back button, get a miss, then draw back in again, you're looking really good for a steal of 2. If he makes, right? You're down 5-2 already. I think if he goes top 4, for example, Dan's got a good chance to chase with the intern or just play the slash on the wide one. So I like at least button here. I think I might try to, bait him with a back button shot. See if you can elicit the draw out of him. Just cleaning right now. They're just kind of looking at it. Doesn't inspire much confidence on the weight. No, now they're going. Looks like it's cooking, Andrew.
You got a great line. I just don't know if it's going to stop.
It's got a lot of weight. Not ideal.
Yep, that's too bad.
There's a good opportunity there. Again, kind of similar theme. He's had his setups. Just late turnarounds on Team Bruce has done a great job tonight of turning things around the third's final rock or Dan's first, in some cases second. I think Dan can just. What's he worried about? I guess he's worried about leaving a double for 4, 3 or 4.
They were tapping, drawing open. Draw open to lie 2. I mean, you're basically putting the game on the line. Kenny is going to ignore it at that point and draw. And then, risk giving up a steal 1 versus a multiple score and possible handshakes.
Yeah. I will say this does require some placement because there's a lot of places you can put it. I guess where the yellows ended up, you could go anywhere 8 foot on the other side, and there's no double. I mean, you don't even need to go deep in the house. The deeper you go, the slash double gets
Oh,
more
yeah,
playable.
Yeah. I mean, if you're in front
And
of
you're
tee
talking about the
line, there's
split.
no double.
Like the split is, I don't like the split at all. There's many cases you leave a double on the split here. I do not like that.
I think the fear of going around the middle is if you're deep, right? If you're going around
Yeah.
the middle, you're back 4. Kenny lobs one, glues one, top button, full button. How do you get it out? So I think the safer play. He's looking at drawing open, see if he can maybe finish the game here on a miss. I don't know. Looks to me they're going around the middle. Yeah, they're going around the middle. Just don't be deep. Famous last words. Just don't be deep.
But by the same token, I mean, like, if he makes this, isn't there a possible double for 4? I feel like I'm missing something.
Not sure. I think you've only got about half the blue. The top blue is this a garden front.
I'm just thinking the yellow into wherever he draws.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
Is that not there?
Maybe. I mean, if he's deep enough, I guess you could.
Or even...
But I mean, if he draws in full 8 foot.
Oh, 8 foot is good. Top 8, I think, is great.
That was the tap. I think it's where he tapped. That's ideally.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We're like something in the 8 foot. But I
Yeah.
mean, if he's 12 foot or 4 foot, this is pretty precise. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like,
right where Sporty's broom is right now.
yeah.
It's hanging.
Okay, it's not light. The question is if there's going to be a line to play this double. There could be. You might be able to play it across the top and get 4.
I don't think he's playing. I think he's drawing all day.
Oh, I must be not seeing something here on the yellow.
Lamswood has hammer. Kenny's trying to steal.
That'll do it. That was the problem. I thought Ken had hammer.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
That's what it is. Your commentators here are trying their best. One of them is not with it. That's the second fundamental mistake of hammer and how many rocks are left. Just shedding confusion all over the place. Yes, well, in the actual circumstances, this makes perfect sense.
I think he's gonna throw a rocket to try to move all 3 yellows. For 2? No, it's his first one. Oh. There's all kinds of danger here. Now we can make it. Now you can make it off the blue.
Tough spot there. It's a tough spot. I don't know. It's like tonight. That was a tough spot. We played here. It was balls.
Oh, is that right?
Well, they did.
The draws were, it's just inside edge of 8 went to the bottom.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't play. Yeah.
Intern?
Intern.
Yeah, straight hits.
Okay, so Kenny Pettigrew's rock is on its way after some discussion with Haley and Smith down the other end. Playing the draw. Got to steal one. Trying
Looks
to hide
like they're
one.
trying to make it curl. It's not
Not sure
far
how
off.
much finish they're going to have. Maybe if they freeze the
This
back
is
one.
the warpy side, I believe. Okay, well,
So Danny's got to pick it out for 2.
pick it out for 2 is a smart call, I think, as opposed to trying to, try to get to the inside with something quiet for a point you don't need. I think if he picks it and scores 2, there's a pretty good chance of shakes.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, so they're still talking about it, but I think they've decided on just a straight pick. Broom is down. Pick the blue. Score 2. Could be handshakes.
Yeah. There's kind of only, it's either steal a 1 or handshakes, I think. There's not much in between. Put my money on Egos for this one for sure.
I like being off the other.
Yeah, before we sign off, quick around the rings. Heather Strong up 4-3. Nice one.
It's Laura Strong.
Sheet 2, we got Stacey Curtis up 6-4 on Jeff Thomas. Same thing.
Outturn.
Oh, he must be close.
That's easy game. A shot.
Only way to make it.
And I guess that's it for our coverage on sheet 3.
We get handshakes.
Or is it?
No.
No. We don't know what happened. That's the problem.
No.
We're too busy giving around the rings
We
coverage.
were going around the rings. I'll be honest, I was watching Simon Perry make
We had a request to go around the rings, and we
in
forgot
off.
what happened on the feature sheet.
He made a nice in-off to sit 3 buried against Greg Smith.
From the commentator.
Greg has 1 rock left. Greg has hammer, but he's going to have a tough time scoring.
It looks like Ken scored one there. And it's his stole one.
I don't think the replay button works.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's what I was saying.
I don't know if Greg can do it. I don't think so. Always made a real nice in off. On a 3.
Yeah, I saw that.
I don't think he can score. He might be able to cut him down to 1.
We're getting intel from our loyal fans here that Ken hit the guard on his shot, which for anyone watching, they already know what happened.
Daniel. Daniel had last rock.
Yeah,
Daniel hit the guard.
Daniel hit the guard.
Okay, so 5-3. Pettigrew still's got a pulse here in the 7th end. All eyes at the club currently with the tens of people in attendance is on sheet 6. Greg Smith, Simon Perry. Simon Perry just made a nice, very, very nice hit and roll in off.
Should go that way.
July 3, Greg's last one is coming.
Steal of $1 million.
He just gave up a steal of 4 to Simon Perry.
Massive dagger.
Yep. Facing 3 on his last, missed, gave up steal 4. That's never good. So, Team Greg Smith, currently undefeated at the moment, is now down 7-3.
It's got to pull 3 or 4 rabbits out of the hat to pull this one out.
Going to 7. So, interesting turn of events there on sheet 6. In our feature game, Ken Pettigrew lives to fight another end.
Yeah, we faded off a little bit on that one. Sorry about that, Ken. It's a lot of action in Super League. It's hard to stay on track. As it turns out, 5-3 Dan. McNeil Lamswood still liking his chances. You know, you got to think you score here, you blank here, even a steal of 1 here. Anything but a multiple steal, you're still feeling pretty good coming home.
Yep, just got the replay come in there. So Danny looked like little tight, little light, wrecked the guard.
I will say that Ken is probably enjoying the setup so far this end.
Absolutely. 3 center guards trying to steal. It's perfect setup. Mark Healy throwing.
With the one that's in the house, only top 8. It's almost 4 guards in a way.
Yeah, you're right. 4 guards.
It's fun to commentate. Not the same as playing.
So get some finish here.
All right, well,
Mark Healy with a beauty.
I mean,
Covers the button.
You got to think Dan's going to try to make some granite go away here coming down the stretch.
He could move all 3 guards here if he hits this right.
Yeah, it's, like getting rid of the 2 blues is pretty, and you could, a thick half here, you're going to shake around at least 3, if not 4 rocks. There's the greatest shot ever here if you get all the guards and that you just kind of just bang, bang. Oh, just a little thin. I was thinking blue, yellow, blue, yellow, blue. That was a lot to ask for, though.
So there's a bit of commotion here on our feature sheet with the steal, and we missed that last shot, and then there were some great shots on sheet 6 between Smith and Peary. So I'm just going to loop back around once more.
Yeah, let's do around the rings one more time, this time properly.
Sheet 4 right now between Nathan Young and Evan Kearley. That game is currently now tied. Nathan Young has hammered in 7. Kearley has stolen in 5 and stolen in 6, and that game is tied. Nathan has hammered the 7th end. Feature game, Pettigrew is still scratching and clawing his way to cling around here, and he's got a good setup right now behind a bunch of guards, line 2. But down 5-3 to Daniel Bruce, Skip and Ryan McNeil Lamswood's team in the 7th. On sheet 2, we've got Stacy Curtis with a big steal of 2 in the 5th. Currently leads Jeff Thomas by a score 6-4.
Yeah,
Curtis
Jeff had the good deuce to come back in 6, actually.
Yeah, much
started
needed.
with the 2-1 lead after 2, then Stacy scored 5 straight points. So it's still a game out there after the key deuce in 6.
And over on sheet 1, I don't know what happened in the 6th, if there was a blank or they just haven't hung the score yet, but according to the scoreboard, we've got Randy Turpin and McNiven's Pub up 1-4-3 over Laura Strong, who's skipping Sarah Bowen's team. I believe the game on sheet 5 is in the books. Looks like Team Tipple has defeated Kaylee Locke.
That's a final.
6-2 final.
All right. So Ken is lying 2 with a guard. It's his shot.
Throwing another guard.
He is looking very good. I mean, yeah, he's shaping up here to put a lot of pressure on Dan Bruce coming down the stretch in N7. It's once again shaping up to not be comfortable if you're Dan Bruce. Like if another that one over curled a bit. I think you probably killed a good guard now, because you got a really good guard in the 3 zone. That's probably going to be the one they elect to kill. But that being said, Ken is still going to have a lot of options. Maybe they won't elect to kill the guard. They're talking about the play in the house. I think they're going to have a little bit of a team discussion here. It is a key shot. I mean, my very first inclination was to peel the tight guard, but playing on the yellow is not a horrible idea. It just leaves 2 somewhat close center guards with one on the button. If I'm Dan with the 2-point lead, I know it's been tough the last few rocks and last end with the outcome, but I think I'd stick with it here and maybe keep, banging away at the middle. But it looks like he's going to choose to play in the house here. What do you think of this shot? Playing on the yellow here.
Sorry if I'm distracted. I'm checking the chat log at the moment. We're getting some messages around the shot selection on the last end. We talked about Danny picking out a rock to count 2 and potentially end the game. Ultimately, the shot call, I think, was something soft, and he wrecked the guard there. So probably a conversation the team will have after the game there on that shot call. But you make that shot, pick it out, half a rock, you score 2, it's 7-2. If it's not game over, it's pretty close. But anyway, again, something, coaching opportunity, if nothing else, something to talk about as a team after the game. But
Yeah.
certainly
What do you
gives
think of
Ken
this one
Pettigrew
here?
some life.
This is one I would have leaned toward peeling that blue guard, but they've chosen to try to play in their yellow. I'm not sure they love it.
Well, Kenny can just guard again.
Guard again, wrap one, out turn, maybe. This is the way where it curls. I mean,
I don't think you can't leave that yellow.
you
open
can't.
Like
it's
that.
tough to leave that yellow there. Yeah, it
When
is
you're-
very
when you're
straight.
all into steel. You can't leave it like that.
So is he going to try to get to the in-turn freeze, freeze on the
I think
inside
that
of
was
the
the
nose?
call. Yeah, that's the call. He's trying to get across the face.
Yeah.
Frozen's on
Yeah.
the center line to change. That's a very tough shot.
And he's signaling again about possibly drawing the out turn. I don't disagree with you at all. You could just straight throw another guard on this shot.
Just guard it. You're all into steel one. Just guard it.
Yeah.
He's gonna.
Unlike
peel.
last
He's gotta,
end,
he's
you
gotta
don't need to
peel
be
something.
as greedy this end if you're in the steal of one mode.
Yep.
Steal of one, steal of one,
Absolutely.
steal again. Play the hand you're dealt. So I think that is a good call. I mean, a one guard here, you got to give yourself a good 60, 70% at least to steal one if you make a good guard here. He's looking behind him, which usually means heavy.
Pretty good.
Okay, that works. Is there the double peel? Double peel would be huge here if he can make it. Guess the only thing you don't want to do with the double peel
bang,
is
bang and leave it right there.
leave it there, or just like kind of like come across the first and like punch the second in or something. You could see that happening. It looks like he's going to take it on.
Hard to see how steep that is. We got an overhead shot here. You could definitely nut it there if you hit that thin.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you
Steve
can.
Sporty Bragg's had a game. He's played very well tonight.
So there's
I
two
would
there's
expect
two
him to be
outcomes
close.
you don't want here. It's the real thin and stick there, or the thicker than you want punch in the blue.
Yeah.
Not great either, but at least you get rid of both guards. And then there's an ideal one, which is make them both. Let's see which one we get. No brooms laid on right now. Going for curl. Well, that's interesting.
That's the back one.
I'm not even sure that's that bad.
No, now it changes the angle on that yellow
Yeah.
for sure.
But Ken can do the out turn draw now and make it real tough for Dan to get at that yellow, and because that the guard that's still up there, that blue guard that's still up there is protecting the outside half of that yellow, which Dan really needs to make a play on these blues. So if Ken can come in now and nose freeze, what is Dan going to do? What is Dan going to do? Dan might have to play a double run back just to try to clear some space. Like and then you're playing with fire, throwing a blue in there, but you might have to if you're Dan just to open up that in-turn half to be able to make a shot in your last.
Yeah, I mean, right now he can't score. So
No.
you got to have a way in for sure. You got to have a way
So
in.
we were seconds away from handshakes. Now we're talking about a potential tie game coming home here.
Yeah, if Kenny can dead freeze his own blue, like you were saying, I don't think there's enough room through that out-turn port to promote the yellow onto the then B2 blues. I don't see that.
At least not with any weight,
No.
like not with any hit weight.
I think you'll see Danny run
might
that,
have to make
the
an
right,
angle
as
run.
We're looking at it, the right guard onto the yellow, onto the blues, just to open up that side.
Yeah, and you might make them both, but I still think if you're Kenny, you got to go for the dead freeze, hope that Dan misses the angle run, just runs it by everything, and then throw a better guard and say, Dan, good luck hitting the button with your last, or else it's tie game coming home. We got some energy in the club here tonight.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, there are literally a dozen people
Dozens.
here. Maybe 15.
Could be. Let's not get nuts.
No, 20.
All right, so it's coming down. they're managing it, but they're not really. So we're on the outside sweeper now.
We get some curl at the right weight.
This is
We've seen it
very
curl
close. This is very close.
This looks really good. Really
All right.
good. Nice shot.
All right. So Dan is looking at that angle slash, which I don't think surprises either one of us. I mean, I think he's got to try something on that outside one. Or is he looking at the hole? What would he do if he goes to the hole?
I don't know. I don't know if you can get through that hole.
I have no idea. We got commentators throwing up their hands
Yeah,
here.
we're not in a great angle here behind it as the glass, as I've mentioned, but I'm not sure he can throw.
Like, is he thinking like an
Anyways.
intern, like a nose, try to set up some yellow angles for his next shot?
I don't know.
Well,
Room is down. He's coming through that hole.
I guess he's playing
with
a
something.
quiet bump. Like I'm gonna guess a board.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
again, from our
nose,
vantage point,
nose.
it's really hard to tell the angles on that long guard, but clearly it's high enough.
Yeah,
And
it's
Danny
it's,
thinks he can curl enough to get
it's
to
a
the
board
the blue.
control kind of shot. So I guess they're just trying to come through everything. You really just can't hit your own yellow here. You just cannot hit your own yellow.
He's close.
Looks close. Oh, they navigated it. What a great shot.
That's a great shot. Danny Bruce has been on fire tonight.
Now, I don't know if Ken can make the double on the yellows because you got to throw a lot of weight to spring. No, there's no double there. That's a fantastic shot. Yeah, he probably would love to have the shot back last end, but he's more than made up for it with 3 or 4
Draw again.
pistols.
All in to steal. He's just going to draw around it again, give Danny the same shot.
Give Danny the same shot, but I mean, based on what he just did, he just got by the blue guard and just got by his own yellow. So you make it twice, you got to tip your cap. So I think even if Ken can come back 4, back 8 here, you just want to make Dan throw a different shot. All right. Well, we've talked about buttering bread this game. This is Ken's favorite shot. I give him a high percentage chance of making this rock. I say that it's a favorite shot. I actually have no idea. I just know that he's really good at it.
He can draw with the best of them. There's no doubt about it. And he just threw it. I mean, you know, you got to love being
They're
able to throw
barely
the same
touching
shot
it.
twice in a row.
Yeah,
You have
as
to get
long as
a
this...
little bit of finish here.
Yeah.
Anywhere back 8. But it's got to curl.
Yeah, at least it's changed the eyesight for Dan. I mean, but that does look pretty open. All right, essentially another game winner here. So I think it's either who's third shot? Okay, so yeah,
I mean,
okay, so
essentially he's got
yeah.
just the crotch really.
yeah, the
for
crotch
2,
for 3.
maybe 3 if he sticks it.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a feeling it's another one where it's either handshakes or steel. You know, I guess if it rides and you
The only thing you can't
miss.
through is just throwing through the uprights. Other than that,
Yeah,
it
like
should be the game.
exactly. I mean, we're still in the tricky spot where oh no, this is away, so this should curl. This should curl decent.
Quick look back at some of the sheets, some action that's still going on here. Greg Smith was down 4, picked up a deuce in 7, so now trailing 7-5, playing 8 to Simon Perry. Perry Perry has hammer. In her own game, Danny is having a conversation with the front end about making sure the broom's in the right spot, making sure we throw the right weight. Take an extra breath here because this could be the finisher.
Yep.
And then maybe we'll switch our coverage. We'll see if the
Don't
boys
look
in
like
the
he's throwing
truck.
a rocket.
See if the boys in the truck can switch us over
Yeah,
to
yeah.
sheet 4 once when this wraps up on sheet 3.
All right, they're sweeping on the outside though, Andrew. That could mean it's riding.
He's not throwing very much weight at this again. Like
I don't know. It's really got to move. He's got it. He's got it.
He's got it.
Well done. Sigh of relief for Dan Bruce. It's a win.
As
It's
you get,
an 8-3
as you get older, you
final.
tend to throw it harder. I would have thrown peel with that. Anyway, nonetheless, that's a big 3, and that's handshakes
Yeah,
for Team McNeil Lamswood. Danny Bruce had a great game.
well-deserved win.
He had a
Ken
great game.
Pettigrew and squad had their chances, but in the end, it's high-quality shot making at the right times for Team McNeil Lamswood, and it's an 8-3 final.
8-3 final, and that win moves McNeil Lamswood to 7-2
Solid.
right now. Very solid record, 9 games in, 7-2. Playing very, very well. As we mentioned, this is not their regular tanker team. But
No, Sporty
Daniel
Bragg,
Bruce,
key addition.
Danny is shooting the lights out and putting himself in a very good playoff position right now. On the flip side, that loss drops Ken Pettigrew and the Quality Matters team down to 5 losses. Granted, they've played some pretty tough teams, and they've had kind of a top-heavy schedule, but 5 losses at this point, it's going to be tough. So they're going to need to go on a serious heater if their hopes of making the playoffs are going to be around come New Year. So with that, so that's it for us on sheet 3. I think we're going to stick around and clue up on sheet 4 now momentarily. But again,
Yep.
we've got an 8-3 final on sheet 3. Lamswood over Pettigrew, and I think we're going to, if we can get switched over to sheet 4, we'll tune in on Carley and Young. And in a turn of events here, Evan Carley has stolen another 2 on Nathan Young to lead now 6-4 after stealing 4 points over the last 3 ends. Crazy. Nathan was up 4-2 after 4 and had hammer in the 5th. Carley stole one in the 5th. Carley stole another one in the 6th to tie it, and Carley stole 2 more in 7 to now have a
lineup change
6-4
is really
lead.
paying off fast dividends. Dylan Hancock throwing last rock. Kenny Saunders throwing 3rd.
Indeed.
Oh, wait. Kenny was throwing last rock before. It was Evan. So, yeah.
Evan was throwing last rock
Yeah.
before.
So they just
Yep.
swapped 3rd and Skip.
Anyway, nonetheless, we've got a couple of front runners.
Are we even confident we're showing ice for right now?
I'm
Or?
not sure. We're just going to talk about it for now until we can confirm it.
This is now a podcast. It's an audio coverage only.
But we've got a couple of the front runners here who've got their hands full.
Oh, wait. Maybe we just got to hit these on mutes? I don't know. No, we're not set up for that.
I think our technical staff is trying to switch us over to sheet 4 here so we can pick up the end of the Young Kearley game.
You're there.
While we're doing that, just looking at sheet 6 right now, Perry is hitting every blue rock in sight with a 2-point lead and hammer as he leads 7-5 over Greg Smith. And on sheet 4, again, not sure if we're set up and talking about sheet 4 yet, but Nathan Young is down 2 with hammer.
And honestly, Team Curly Hancock, is just going to keep lobbing rocks in the house here. They're looking pretty good. Young is obviously trying to clear off the center, but right now, Hancock's got all you want setting up for him here. Here comes Kenny Saunders, Crazy Kenny as we call him. And apparently we're live.
Oh, that was from 2 hours ago.
We're with just like 13 minutes past live on sheet 3. Just nobody's listening anymore.
Who
It
dis?
doesn't matter.
This is your commentary team here. Trevor's in the truck, trying to get sheet 4. Just making sure we're streaming sheet 4 right now, and not just talking about it randomly.
It should be good content anyway. There's still life on sheet 6 too. There's some stuff coming down in the wire here, with some implications to the overall standings. Well, we got on sheet 4. We got draws happening from Nathan Young.
Very nice freeze, Nate Locke.
Very nice, but
they're only playing with 3 tonight. Ben is not there tonight. Ben Stringer's not there. So Team Young playing with Nate Locke, Colin Thomas, Nathan Young.
it appears that Dylan Hancock is now both calling the game and throwing last rock. So it is now fully Team Hancock. We're just going to pretend like we're recording, I guess. Might as well finish it off in style, even if it never sees the light of day. So, Dylan trying to isolate the blue rock here with the nose hit. See what happens with Kenny's rock. Not bad. Not great. So Nathan can make a little hit and roll and put a world of hurt on. There's no chance it's working.
We're over here.
What? Yeah, I tried. That's what I mean. Trigger's saying something about switching games, but like we don't have the technology. Transition, maybe?
Okay, we're on sheet 4 here now.
Oh. Okay. That's not bad, but it leaves the double.
That leaves a double. Yeah. Okay.
But
thanks,
does the
Trevor.
double
I think
jam?
We're good. I think we're good here now.
Actually, I think
sheet 4.
the double jams.
See, when Kenny moves out of the way, let's have a look.
That's jamming all day.
You might be right.
Or is it going over the
Who's
top?
throwing this? Evan?
No. Yes.
I mean, you throw a bomb at that. I think it goes across the top, even if you clip
You gotta
your own
get
on the way by.
As tight by the guard as you can. If any bit high is jamming. They're sweeping. It's close to the guard.
think our mics are working here, are we?
Oh, wow. They actually cleared the back one. I didn't think that was possible.
Oh,
it's not
I
bad, though.
left it there. Mics are not working, are they? What? Test.
All right, well, we...
Aha, here we go.
We're back?
We're in.
Yeah, well,
Trevor. Okay.
that was pretty good from Evan Kearley. So he managed to somehow miss the double. I don't even know how. Clear the back blue, but okay. Interesting call. Up to you. Could just choose to completely clog it right now if you wanted. Be a little more patient.
Nathan just threw the guard there on his last one.
That's what I mean. Like, who's this benefiting, this shot right now? Open question. Open line.
I think they threw it there so to prevent the yellow-blue promotion. But, I mean, if you throw a guard there, you're basically hoping he double peels, so eventually Nathan will have an easy draw to 4-foot for 2. But that's close. Nice shot.
So,
Very
I
nice.
guess where I'd go with this is now you can make the hit and roll on the yellow if you like. He's guarding again. Okay. Interesting. I guess Nathan's trying to play for protect, and just have the draw to the button for 2. But if he, if the guard's not placed perfectly and he allows a chase,
Yeah,
he could be looking at no shot.
You try the hit and roll on the top yellow, roll behind the corner, you mean?
Yeah,
I mean, you could clip the blue one,
totally.
and you're done. You
You're
roll out,
toast.
you're done.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, he's got to score 2. Take your chances.
No gimme with the
on,
guard. You leave. I guess like this is hanging. Lots going on.
So while we're waiting for Team Kearley / Hancock to figure out what their play is going to be on sheet 4, just back on sheet 6 for a second.
As long as you don't roll out.
Greg Smith, who is down 2 without playing against Simon Perry, playing 8. Greg right now is hitting to lie 3. So Simon Perry will have a shot essentially against the loss on his last one. So we'll see how this one shapes up. We'll keep you posted on that. But Greg is coming out of the hack right now looking for a nose hit, maybe an inside roll to lie 3, and put some serious pressure on this young Perry team.
It looks like on the feature game, we've got a peel happening here and forcing Nathan into the exact same guard on his first. I think it's a peel. I don't know for sure, but I don't think he's throwing it back. What do you think on ice 4 there? You think he's throwing it back or just peeling?
Is this his last one? Sorry,
First.
I'm caught up on sheet 6 here. We're down to last rock on sheet 6. Sheet 6, last rock. Simon Perry's in the house. He's facing 3. He's playing an open hit and stick on a rock that's wide open in the 8-foot. If he noses it or rolls in, he'll win.
Or even rolls away 2 feet. The only thing he can't do is roll
rolls out
out.
of the rings, it's
Yeah.
a tie game, and at this point, we'll probably do a draw the button, I would think. I'm not sure what time it is.
He's just playing a quiet one. He's tight out of his hand. They really got to go to
Sweeping
hold it.
hard straight. Hard straight, just clean,
Got it.
Pressure shot. And Simon Perry hands Greg Smith their first loss of this Super League season. Huge win for the young Perry team and a very
In
very
other
talented
news,
team.
Nathan is going to try to protect his own blue here on the feature sheet. If he doesn't protect it, there's going to be a yellow blue, or just pick the blue. The pick is tough.
That's tough. But, Skip's throwing guards. We've talked about it all night. That's not a gimme. But it's on the way, and Nate Locke is sweeping hard for line. They'd like to wait,
It's
though.
a clean now. He's on and off, so he must be close.
Yep. No, he's coming all the
He's
way
coming
in.
all the way in. What's going on? He's trying to get around it. He might have just teed up a double, Andrew.
I think he has.
I think he's
think
got
he has.
He's teed up the double. Now it is
Now
jammable.
absolutely jammable on the back one.
Now we've seen if there's one thing we've seen,
Bang,
100%, it's that way too. I think he's trying to hit the first blue as thick as he can, and even still, the thing is, if that first blue jams on the back, the yellow should be line 2. Yellow should be line 2. It's close, but I think yellow's line 2, even with a dead jam, forcing the double.
Could be, yeah. Double for the tie.
That's a huge. I kind of thought Nathan was going to guard again. If he guards, what
Yeah,
does
I'm
Kearley do?
assuming that was the call to bring it in. I mean,
Oh,
the
yeah.
way Nathan Locke was
Oh
sweeping
yeah,
that
for
rock
sure.
down on
For
and off.
sure, he was trying to
that
draw.
was the call. But
I guess.
obviously didn't end up in a great spot. So we'll see if Dylan Hancock. They're playing the yellow.
They're playing
They're
the
playing
yellow.
off the yellow.
What do you mean? What are they
into
doing?
the blue down to the other blue, hitting the yellow first.
Or are they just playing a straight back? A little surprised at this call.
Yeah,
personally.
little surprised for sure.
I guess he must think he can direct the blue out sideways and come straight
yeah,
back.
I mean, if you hit 2/3 or 3/4 on the outside of the yellow, you might
They're
be
not
able to
doing
get
much
the blues.
with it. What's going to happen? He's not hitting it through the hole. Oh, great shot.
shot.
He's got them
Great
both.
shot to end
It's
the
game
game.
over. So two
Wow.
huge losses.
Upset
for
week
Nathan
here.
Young and
Upset
Greg
week here
Smith.
in the St. John's Super League. Greg Smith suffers his first loss. Nathan Young appeared to be in control halfway through, but gave up a series of steals to Evan Kearley, now being skipped, as it appears, by Dylan Hancock. That's a big win for Hancock's team, and a bit of an upset for sure on both Sheet 6 and Sheet 4. Back to our feature game again. Thanks for joining us on Sheet 3, where
Thanks
we had
very
Ryan
much.
McNeil Lamswood and skipped by Daniel Bruce with an 8-3 win over Ken Pettigrew. And appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Stay gold out there.